Hello TvAgro friends, thanks again for being with us today. We have a very interesting topic, a topic related to the game. Many we have sometimes been asked how important it is to play around or around the environment with dogs. Let's talk a little about myths and realities about the game and how to play can affect or benefit your dog. We will also talk about different stages and developments where the dog or where the game has the importance and where I should pay a little more attention in the game and in the where it can obviously be a risk for your dog not to have control over it. It is important to be clear that the game is a factor that is going to help us and is a determinant factor to promote certain behaviors or to enhance behaviors that are not. I'll give you an example. If your dog has a compulsive obsession by a toy, playing with that toy may cause it not to generate any kind of your dog for the obsession he carries. Let's watch him from puppyhood and then we will make a box for all the stages of the dog. In a puppy it is important to teach him to play with his toys. It is important for the puppy to toys but not to have toys at their free disposal. Between the more toys you buy does not mean that your dog will have more play options, no. What he means is that you're going to accumulate a lot of toys but the dog is going to at some point lose a taste for any of them simply because you see them all the time. What you can do with them is play with your dog. He is always going to. It is important to teach him that there is value in playing while he is with you, i.e., the ball or teether or all the toys you can find have a value when you play with it. Not just because you have a toy or a toy, but because you have a specific. The more you teach your dog that this toy has value to you, the more the dog will be more willing from puppyhood to be with you, to want to play, to want to spend more time with you, and is not going to be a typical dog that after a few years of adult will go with other dogs or will play with other balls or will take the ball and he won't want to give it to you. Those are problems that we are going to encounter. Then, as an adult, with a puppy, what should you focus on? What kind of toys are important? 1. That they are soft. Remember that your dog has very sensitive teeth. They are very thin and you will need to have toys where he can play with them, or do his holding or his biting process with toys that allow him to do so without being hurt. That is to say, that here games hard toys, balls solid, hard balls, the only thing they can do is damage the bite of the ball. Your dog, remember that he is in development, his bones are developing and that he is. Type of toys can affect your dog's bite and as I said, the jaw. Then with rags or very simple toys. Soft are the ones with which you can start a training process, even a training process, or play with your dog. In any training or learning process, play is always going to be necessary. The more your dog learns that it is necessary to through play, there is a cognitive development, there is a brain that develops, that information comes in through this game where you can stabilize emotions. If I play with a puppy, I can teach it to sit, to wait, to be patient and then start a new game process. This is going to be very valuable for you. You are going to teach him to wait, to be calm, to have patience, to control emotions, to regulate himself, to learn to breathe. You can do all of that through the game. Once your dog is already clear about his basic play behaviors, then you can get into interacting with toys that demand a bit more topics. Cognitive games. There are many games that you can find in many places where you can find you will be able to enhance and develop the cognitive part of your dog, which is the most important part. Not only that he develops more speed when shooting, but also that he is a fundamental part of the game. But to develop their cognitive part, which is what you are really going to need in the long term. When your dog is already in the juvenile stage or in the teenager, you will see that it has much more strength, it has much more power, has a much higher reaction speed, so it will look for exercises where they allow you to develop all that power and all that energy buildup that you have in your muscles. Then you are going to be looking for toys, obviously a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, That will allow you to have a little closer interaction with your dog. Recommendation: in this period you are going to try to prevent the dog from developing those compulsive obsessions, that I have not whined to you about the ball, that I do not want to take it away from you the hard way, that he does not jump for the ball. On the contrary, he will already taught during their puppyhood periods to be calm and patient. Those who have a dog at this age, you are going to look for the same control that the dog will be once he calms down. You can give him the ball, and he'll bring it to you, but he'll turn back to you. A challenge for you personally to get him to come and bring the ball to you until you get here, and you can do that with food. You can look for it with cookies, you can with another ball. Have the dog come and bring the ball to you and make an exchange either for food or for another ball. In this process, what you are going to look for is that the game is important, but the important thing to remember, you are always going to do with the toy, not the toy just for the sake of it. Be there, it's going to be important, okay, always in the periods of play you have to have. If your dog is small, I invite you to consider the right toy for your dog. Look for toys according to the mouth and size of your dog, not toys large toys for small dogs and also small toys for large dogs. There you can make a mistake. There have been many cases and many accidents where large dogs with small balls or small balls can generate choking in the throat. A blockage in the throat due to the fact that they have been either because of the excitement it generates for them, or because of the intensity of the end can cause us problems. So look for the toy that they play with, for your dog's size and most importantly for the breed of your dog. Keep in mind that if you have a dog that is gill-headed, that dog that is flat as a bulldog, French bulldog, this kind of dogs you have to have a lot of be careful during periods of play. Remember that they are dogs that get tired very quickly. Fast, they oxygenate in a different way, they take in air in a different way. Also look for the physical load that you are going to do through the game to be commensurate with the breed, to the size and evidently to the strength that your dog has. It is necessary to measure it accordingly. And finally, with dogs that are a little older, let's talk about dogs that are between 8 or 9 years old. You should also be careful with the game because of what? Because remember that there is a natural period coming where aging, sometimes we don't think about it or we don't take it into account, but it also reaches them. They also go through this process, and over time we suffer from wear and tear. We are going to see that they also suffer from their joint and hip issues, kidney problems, liver problems. All the problems start at the beginning of the eye. I invite you to check your dog very well, to take into account the following points: medical and clinical issues, and that you know how far he can go with the game. For your dog in a ball toss, if he likes the ball too much, do not go to have problems in a twist, to get hurt, to damage the one or articulation due to an excessive workload. Remember that the game is a physical activity where the dog needs not only a previous warm-up, also needs some rest periods, it also needs a period of time to rest, it also needs a period of recovery, and, above all, remember to eat well. On the subject of play, remember that it is important for the dog to be very clear on the following points: when to play and when you should let go or stop playing. The intent of this is to manage the dog's emotions very well and manage them very well. For example, I can give my dog a sit command sit. A sit command sit. And ask him sit stay to have control over this stimulus. This we are is by generating a stimulus on the dog, and that stimulus will generate in the dog will have a reaction of wanting to go grab, bite, play with it, but the intention is to calm him down, to keep him quiet, to keep him calm so that he can then to be able to play okay. We have the stimulus, and once he's calm okay, we would be working on the management of the game, and we would emotions, and this is what generates value for the dog, the fact that he wants to play. But we are back to the same thing, the value is given by the guide rather than the dog. Another example classic is to be able to have the object that I have control of the game. I have the toy, I have the dog. The dog is waiting for me to give him the command to free himself from going for her, and these simple exercises will allow you to understand that the dog is going to be able to have to use their cognitive side by managing their emotions very well in order to. If we do not do it in a proper way, we can unleash in the dog. We return to behavioral and conduct issues that we don't need. I can ask him to develop different behaviors that he already knows how to do at home, if I ask him to do them at home. You have taught your dog to sit, to lie down, to shake hands. All of this you can then take advantage of it through the game is worth. With that you win. You do not have to use cookies or food treats to get your dog to listen, but through the use of the game you can first get the dog to have the right emotion to play with. And is a much more controlled game.
Sit. Sit. Stay. Vaya.
I hope you liked it. Any information you need you can find us at Carlos Eduardo Silva on Facebook and at Carlos_Silva 2226 through the social networks.